Fall is here, and what better way to cozy up than with a cute handmade pumpkin? Today I'll show you how to crochet your own pumpkin, which is perfect for decorating or gift giving. Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new to my channel, I love doing DIYs and I love doing craft videos, so welcome. To get into today's tutorial, we are going to be diving into a quick and easy crochet project, which is making these cute pumpkins. First, let's go over the materials you'll need. For this project, I am using this orange acrylic yarn that I picked up from Michael's. I will have this link down below for the exact color that I am using. I will be using a 4.7mm hook from Clover. You may have to adjust the hook size based on like your tension and tightness. I'm a pretty tight crocheter. A 4.5mm is just fine. Then you are going to need faux leather. In the past, Hobby Lobby has had faux leather where it was like brown on the back and brown on the front. And I wasn't able to find that this year, so what I might end up doing is painting the inside to make it look brown. Anyways, you will need faux leather. This will be used for the stem. If you also happen to have a leather punch to make holes, I would recommend having this too. I got this at Harbor Freight. I'm not sure how much it was. It couldn't have been more than like 20 bucks. I will have up on the screen the correct price, but yeah, these are very nice to have, but you can also make holes with like scissors and stuff like that. You will also need stuffing. And then you will also need a tapestry needle. I cannot find mine currently. It's somewhere in a drawer, so I will pull that out when I need it. You will also need scissors. I feel like that's kind of a given when it comes to working with yarn. You may also want to get a larger crochet hook for when we do the beginning part. I have a hard time keeping my tension, so I find that having a bigger hook makes it easier for me when doing the foundation chain. I will let you guys know when I do end up swapping. To get started, you are going to want to make a slip knot. So you are going to you're going to kind of make a pretzel. Then you are going to take the side of where your yarn ball is and you're going to cross that over to where it kind of looks like a pretzel. It's going to look a little complicated. Then you're going to go from behind and grab it and then make a slip knot. You're just going to pull. And what's nice about this is that it is an adjustable loop. Just make sure you have a tail that is a little bit long. Then I'm going to take my 5mm hook, as I said I was going to be using, and I'm going to be chaining about 35. I'm going to be chaining about 35. So for those of you that don't know what that is you're going to have your loop, you're going to take your crochet hook, put your loop on that, then you're going to grab from behind and then pull right through. And then that is one chain. And you are going to do that about 35 times, technically 34, but yeah, you're just gonna keep doing that. And you want to try to keep it loose. You don't want it too tight. If not, you're gonna have a chain that's just not straight. And I can tell you, I'm very bad at that. But just keep chaining, try to keep it loose. 31, 32, 33, 34, and 35. This is my row of 35. It's not pretty, but it's fine. So this is what I'm going to swap over to my 4.5mm hook, and I'm just going to slip that back onto where I had it. We're going to be doing half double crochets. So you will see I have all these loops, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. So on the third one, I am going to grab from behind. I'm going to be going into that third loop, grabbing another thing, like another piece of yarn, and then we are going to pull through all the way, and we're going to keep doing that all the way down until we get to our last loop. So remember, loop back, go in to that next loop, grab from behind, and then pull through. So try to keep your tension right. I can't guarantee mine's going to be like that, but I mean, it's fine. We're going to be stuffing these anyway. But I will see you back when I'm done at the end of this row. And I'm finishing into my last stitch on my foundation chain. This is my first row. We are going to chain 1, we are going to chain 2, and then we are going to be doing half double crochets, but only in the back loops. So we are going to grab that, and then in our first loop, which you will see that V right there, right next to that chain that we did, you are going to grab your back loop and you are going to, so instead of, you know, typically we go through both. In this case, we're going to be going through the back loop only, grabbing that and then just doing half double crochets in the back. And then you're just gonna keep doing that. It's gonna kind of give like a ridging effect. If you guys have made like sweaters with like the little cuffs or whatever where they're kind of stretchy, that's what this is kind of like. But yep, you're just gonna do that all the way across, just back loops only. If it starts to curl a little bit, again, I'm not too worried about that because we will be sewing and stuffing this. You can't really tell. We are getting close to the end of our row here. How many stitches do I have? I think that is 2 or 3. Hold up. It is indeed 1. Okay. So make sure you're doing back loops and you will see where it is looking like pumpkin strips or whatever. I don't know what you call those, but like the little lump stuff. So then you're going to chain 2 again, and then we're going to do the back loops, and we're going to keep doing that until we have about 29 rows total. Okay, I am back with a quick progress update. I am not finished yet. I also realized I gave you guys some misinformation. I meant to say you need to crochet 30 rows, not 29 rows. So my apologies. I think I did correct that with text up on the screen back during when I was saying that. So again, please disregard what I had said. So I have 4 more rows left to go. Oh, I am going to complete that now. Okay, so I have finished my 30 rows, and you need to make sure it's an even number of rows, because what I like to do is whenever you have the ridges, I like to make sure that like this is the puff side and this is like the flatter side, so that when you put it together, it looks like one continuous pumpkin. So what I'm going to do is I am going to actually tie this off. So you are going to want a lot of yarn left over. Also, I need scissors. But yeah, you're going to want just quite a bit of yarn. Okay, and then I'm just gonna pull through that. And then it's nice and tight. Now you're gonna have your big old rectangle. So you're gonna wanna take your tapestry needle and then put your yarn through it. Sometimes I've struggled with this, but there we go. So what you are going to do is we are going to pretty much be sewing these 2 edges. We're gonna be sewing these 2 edges together. And it's not exact, but whatever, close enough. I had to stretch that edge a bit. And remember how I told you that you want to have one edge kind of being like the flat side and the other side being the bumpy side? That's what we are going to do. So we're starting at the bottom, and we're pretty much going to be sewing this using the matcher stitch. We're pretty much going to be like lacing shoelaces with this. So I'm gonna try to do my best to explain this, but if not, it doesn't make sense, I will put a link down below to what I'm referring to. So anyways, you are going to want to take your thing and you are going to go into your first stitch, which you'll see I'm having a difficult time finding, and you are just going to pull all of this yarn through. It's a lot of yarn, probably gonna make this shorter. Also be careful, you don't want your yarn to get. Honestly, I'm just gonna cut some of this yarn. You still want to keep a long tail though, because it's gonna be important for the end stages. But anyways, we have that together. And then we are going to go back through, kind of through the back. This is very hard to explain, but you will see this first stitch right here. And we are gonna go through both the back and the front loop right there. We're gonna go in through the back. You wanna make sure you get both loops. Then you are just going to pull, pull, pull. And then you are going to go into the next stitch. And you are going to do that same thing. You're gonna go through that front and back loop on both sides. Also be careful. That is the only thing that sucks, is that sometimes this yarn will get all knotted up. So you are just going to keep doing that. We're gonna go back to the left side here and go through those 2 loops and then pull all the way through and then go back to that other side. And yeah, you're gonna keep doing that. So I will see you guys back when I have this part completed. So we are down to our last thing. It's not the prettiest, but it's fine. It gets the job done. We are going to do our last couple stitches. It didn't line up 100%, but I mean, you're gonna be stuffing this. So where I have my starting chain, I'm actually gonna go in and actually knot that to kind of keep that in place. So now you will be left with this tube. You are going to retake your tapestry needle. And I don't know if you guys have seen like a drawstring backpack. That's what we're gonna try to emulate here. I'm gonna use something called a whip stitch, where I'm gonna go around the whole edge of the pumpkin. And I am just going to, and I will link a video in case you guys need to know what a whip stitch is. But yeah, I'm just gonna whip stitch it around the whole pumpkin. So yeah, you're gonna want to start kind of like pulling and gathering. Okay, be careful with a little bit with acrylic yarn, because that stuff will break. So just note that you don't want to pull too hard. We got this cute little gaping hole, and so you're going to ignore that for now. Actually, we're going to close that up. Okay, so once you have this cute little hole, if you manage to actually get it a lot smaller than what it's supposed to be, go for it. Good for you. That is not happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go across and just start trying to, you know, close this hole shut. And I'm just gonna, you know, try to go around and do that. I don't even know if this is correct crocheting, but that's how I'm doing it. And then you want to make sure that you don't have any holes at the bottom. So you got to go back in and then just whatever you got to do. Now we have a closed hole, and it's not going to matter because this is the bottom. No one's really going to see it. It's just going to kind of be sitting there. And it looks really bad right now. It actually kind of looks like a beanie, but so we are going to put this to the side and we are going to ready our leather piece. The inside, unfortunately, is gray. Is this black? This looks black. It looked brown in store. Okay, well, too late now. You are going to want to cut a 1/4 inch. Once you make your line, you're going to want to cut it. Ideally, you'd want the inside of this to be brown. Just gonna try to trim this up a little bit. Now that we have this cut, you have the option to either make a hole with scissors, which I would use like sewing scissors to cut that, or I'm going to use my leather punch. What setting is this on? Whatever setting this is what I have that on. So it's whatever this one is the one I'm going to use. Just going to go in and I'm just gonna punch a hole. You don't want it too close to the edge, but you also don't want it to. And voila. It made our cute little hole. This is an absolute godsend, so I would highly recommend getting a leather punch. This is about 4.5 inches. Okay, so you are ready for stuffing. I'm actually going to take our bottom piece of yarn. You're going to shove it at the bottom. I'm just gonna kind of pull that through. And we're just gonna leave that for now. Actually, since we have both ties, I'm actually going to tie that for extra security. You know what, we're going to triple knot this. Yellow, I guess. So now is where we're going to stuff it. And you're just going to have like this half tube. This is where you can kind of do this Build-A-Bear style, whether you want this to be a firm or to be a very like soft pumpkin. I prefer mine more on the firm side, but this will ultimately be up to you on how squishy you want it to be. That is where I'm going to take some yarn. Just going to cut it. what I did was I took one of my loops and I'm just gonna kind of tie this on here. And we are going to do a similar thing to what we did before, that we are going to kind of, you know, go around it. Not the whole pumpkin. If you think that you may need more stuffing, you can add that as you are going. That's no biggie. So yeah, as you're going, just be sure that you're pulling tightly. So I am just going to keep doing that whip stitch around the whole pumpkin and then just kind of pulling as I go. Okay, so you're going to want to get to the point of where you are at when we first started doing the, I don't know what you guys call it, I'm just going to call it the drawstring thing. When we started that. Okay, so what you are going to do is you are going to take your leather strap with the 2 holes. Where your last loop was, is you are going to take your yarn and you are going to feed it through that. And you are going to make sure that it is in the center. And you're going to kind of do what I was showing you guys before by just kind of going to the edges and then just kind of sewing it closed. And you will see that it starts closing, and then you're just going to kind of go around and just make sure that it is closed completely. Okay, so what we are going to do now is we are going to make sure that our yarn is positioned back in front. So what we are going to do is we're going to go back through that hole. And we are going to go to the bottom. You want to, and you're going to want your pumpkin, you're going to want your needle to come right through the middle. Or somewhere in the middle. Right there. And you're going to want to grab that. You are going to pull. You are going to come back up. You're just going to try to hide that at the bottom. You're going to come back up and you're going to want to try to have your needle come through that middle part again. Okay, there we go. And you're just going to kind of start scrunching that down a bit. And you are just going to keep repeating that. You kind of go through that hole, go down to the middle. You're going to go back up again. And you're just going to keep doing that until you're satisfied with your pumpkin. I do it about 4 or 5 times, but as you're doing this, just kind of fluff up your pumpkin a little bit. Okay, so we are going to tie this off. So I just kind of loop around a couple of these thingies and then tie it off. And I am just going to take my needle after I tied that off. And I'm just going to exit out another end. And we are going to cut that. And then if your yarn is still sticking out for after where you cut it, just kind of poke it back in there with your needle. And that is your pumpkin. You can create a few in different sizes and colors and create your own cute little pumpkin patch. That's what I did last year, and then I gave all my pumpkins away to my friends. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future DIYs or craft videos that I do. So happy crafting! I will see you guys in the next video. Adios!